Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another video, and today I'm going to be talking about my top studio series of the year, and we're just going to go over my top 21. Some of these are just ones that I bought this year, not all of them actually came out this year, so there might be some older figures on this list. Anyway, let's start with number 21. And at number 21, we have the Studio Series Deluxe Class Jolt. This figure had such a high bar set for it, and a lot of people were really hyped for them to finally make a new Studio Series Jolt. And this figure did not live up to the hype because the engineering feels very half-baked, and this figure is not that much better than the original Revenge of the Fallen one. Now, coming in at number 20, we have the Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class Blur. My main issue with Blur is his wrists are connected to those arm-like swoosh thingies, and they really get in the way of wrist articulation. His face sculpt does look a little unnerving, but not as unnerving as some other figures. And overall, he just could have been a little bit better, because mine also had a few loose joints and a few QC issues that could have been resolved. And now getting at number 19, we have the Studio Series 86 Cup. My main issue with this cup is his proportions are a little bit wonky, especially in the shoulders, but mostly his face sculpt. I don't like how he has, like, the eyelids on the bottom, and it makes him look way more like an old man than a Transformer, and I just wish they just changed that. And now coming in at number 18, we have the Studio Series Deluxe Class Dino. This guy, again, just like Jolt, this guy had a very high bar, and everyone was really hoping for this guy to be good. And again, his engineering feels very half-baked. He does transform, and it looks very nice, but his robot mode feels very compromised in its articulation, and it could have been a lot better. Now coming in at number 17, we have the Studio Series Deluxe Class Bumblebee movie B127. Now, this figure, I did not really like that whole lot because of how much back kibble there was on this figure, but of all the figures that there is of this thing, this is probably the best looking version of it, and I don't hate it as much as some other people do, but he does not deserve to go that high on the list. Now coming in at number 16, we have the Studio Series Deluxe Class Shatter, and this is probably the best Studio Series Shatter figure we've ever gotten. I just didn't like this figure as much as other ones, but nothing is wrong with this figure. Like I said, I just liked other figures more. So there's nothing wrong with her. I like her a lot. And coming in at number 15, we have the Studio Series Voyager Class Thrust from the Bumblebee movie. The only thing keeping this guy above Shatter and not putting him below Shatter is that I love the size of this Voyager. It's a nice bigger Voyager, but I also like the retooling of the head/shoulder section, so he has that little cone thing. But this guy is, in the end, just a repaint, so he shouldn't go too high on the list. Now coming in at number 14, we have the Studio Series Deluxe Class Sideswipe. I don't really care for this design as Sideswipe, and I feel like this character gets overhyped a lot by a lot of people, and this guy's a little overrated, but this guy has amazing silver paint and engineering. I won't deny that. And coming at number 13, Studio Series 86 Slug, or Slag. This guy has so many issues. Grimlock was so perfect. This guy just did not fit the bill. He was missing so much points of engineering that Grimlock had, and his dinosaur mode looks kind of stupid with its little dimpy legs, and this guy frustrates me so much. And now coming in at number 12, Studio Series Grindor. Grindor is based on that Blackout mold that was already so amazing, but this guy improved it that little bit with some extra paint apps and those retooled hands with opposable fingers, and it just makes me like this guy more than that Blackout and more than some other figures on this list. So the story behind this is that I traded this guy to a friend, but then I got so nostalgic for this figure and I actually missed it a lot that I traded it back, and I just really like this guy. This design of Starscream really grew on me. But he is not my definitive Starscream. I just really like this figure and this design a lot more than I thought I did. So he deserves to go on the list because I did get him back this year. And now starting off with the top 10, we have 86 Jazz. This was my favorite figure of the 86 Deluxes, and Jazz really needed a redone, and this figure did it justice, especially after that horrible Combiner Wars styled Power of the Primes one. This guy really blows that one out of the water. And coming to number 9, same thing that I said about Thrust applies to Starscream here. Starscream is the better version of this mold because the red and blue really pops on the shelf. His alt mode just looks better, and just overall, if you had to get only one of the two, I'd say Starscream, but Thrust is still a good figure nonetheless. And number 8 is the Studio Series Voyager class Megatron, Revenge of the Fallen battle damaged version. I missed out on this figure when it first came out a few years ago, but Target recently reissued it for the original retail price, and I just had to pick one up, and I love this mold, but it has so much metallic paint and everything that makes it shine and look so much better than the original, and it just had to go on the list. Coming in at number 7, it's 86 Gnaw. I missed out on the Titans Return Legends class Gnaw, and that figure I heard was okay, so this one was the more superior version to get. And I actually like this enough that I'm kind of tempted to get more than one. Love the engineering and proportions on this guy, just wish he maybe had a waist swivel, but overall, great figure. What is there to be said that already hasn't been said about 86 Hot Rod? This figure is basically the masterpiece figure with more features. The only thing this guy doesn't do that the masterpiece figure does is that masterpiece figure has a fishing rod. And really, do you really need a fishing rod for this guy? Need I say more? Coming in at number 5, it is 86 Scourge. The only reason I like this guy more than Hot Rod is because I like this guy's bigger size for the Voyager scale, and also I just have a nostalgic soft spot for the whole Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge trio, and this guy just really captures his on-screen appearance so well. Now coming in at number 4, we have the Voyager Class 86 Wreckgar. Wreckgar is a very much of a favorite character of mine, and I really do like the way how this guy was translated into action figure form. This thing blows that Power of the Primes figure away with just a brand new sculpt, brand new accessories, and really killer engineering with articulation. And yes, I did get this guy on the last day of the year, so he does count on this list. This is the Studio Series Soundwave from the Bumblebee movie. I love this guy. I've already got a review up on him, and the only thing keeping this guy from being in 3rd or 1st place is his alternate mode, but also his visor looks a little droopy and kind of sad looking. So I do love him a lot, and I really think people should be excited for this guy. He just has those tiny little gripes that would have made him a lot better and a lot higher on this list. And coming in at number 2, it's the 86 Leader Class Grimlock. Grimlock is an amazing figure. Just like Hot Rod, this is basically just a downscaled masterpiece Grimlock. And this guy even has better things than the masterpiece, such as engineering, articulation, and quality control. This guy has amazing paint, amazing detail. He might have that, and he comes with that little wheelie that's kind of a perk, I guess. But come on, this guy is big, he's chunky, his engineering is good, his alternate mode is accurate, and he just, chef's kiss. Now, coming in at number 1, this is the movie masterpiece, Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. If you guys don't think this should count on my list, then just say the Grimlock was my number 1 of the year. But since this guy is a movie masterpiece, he is technically Studio Series, just masterpiece level. And since he's masterpiece level, that's why he ended up at number 1. The only thing I have to complain about this figure is when he's in his truck mode, the truck bed looks kind of messy, and I really wish it was compressed in a little bit more, or maybe paneled up just that tiny bit more. But really, I have nothing to complain about with this figure. I just wish that I got him for maybe a little bit cheaper, but it's a masterpiece figure. What are you going to do? He has die-cast metal parts, great detail, articulation, and just killer figure. And I just would highly recommend him if you're able to find one or pick him up for cheap. And that is basically about it. So if you guys enjoyed this list, be sure to give me a like on the video, be sure to comment down below, and also be sure to comment down below what your list was. And yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more action figure reviews. I've been working on some for you guys. And just let me know what you guys want to see me review, or if you guys have any suggestions or whatever. And be sure to follow me on Instagram and my second channel, links in the description. And yeah, that is basically it, all I have to say. So, see you in the next video.